Good day, ma'am. Good day to everyone. This is the presentation of Group 3. So today we're going to discuss about the unitary and the federal. But first, let's talk about the federal. So what is federal? According to Google, federal government is a system dividing up power between central national government and local state government that are connected to one another by the national government. So federal government is the one divides the power of different organs of the country or government to ensure of smooth working of the country's government process. And they actually divided it into three branches, which is the legislative, executive, and the judiciary. These three branches have their own unique function and powers to fulfill the expectation of the people or citizen. Um, the first branch is the executive. Executive branch is under the president, so it has the power and responsibility to execute those laws in a correct way and to ensure the accountability towards to its citizen. Uh, the next branch is the legislative, which is um, the lawmaker. Legislative is the one that have power and responsibility to make law for the welfare of the citizen and country. Legislative branch also had two chamber of Congress, which is the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Senate is the one who represent the country as a whole, while the House of Representatives is the one who represent the people. Um, to make the last branch is actually the judiciary. Judiciary. It has the power and function to ensure that no law is violating the right of any citizen and made as per the rules of prescribed constitution. So if the executive one is the one who execute the law and the legislative one is the one who make the law, the judiciary one is the one who make sure that no one is violating the law or it is according to our constitution. These three branch works together in cooperation with each other to ensure the better implementation and accountability, and also to provide the citizen the better environment in the country with the best resources and law and remedies. So that's all for the federal. Now let's proceed for the unitary. Unitary government or unitary system of government is a form of government in which the power of all the provincial and local government are specified by a single national government. So it's only composed of one central government that hold all the power of the government. If the federal government divided the power into national and local, the unitary naman is the kabaliktaran. The unitary state subnational units are created and abolished, and their power may become broad or narrowed by the central government. Um, all power is reserved to central government. Only the central government holds the power to make the implement law. And the central government can order its organ to implement those law on behalf of the central government. In unitary government, um, central government is the only authority.
Let's proceed to the advantages of having a federal form of government just in case that it will be implemented in the Philippines. The first one, it accommodates regional preferences and diversity. So a federal constitution or government gives a country the flexibility to accommodate variations in economic bases, social tastes, and attitudes. These characteristics correlate substantially with geography, and state laws in federation can be adapted to local conditions in a way that is rather hard to do in a national unitary system. Another advantage that I want to put before you is that federalism is a protection of liberty. Federal structure protects citizens from oppression of the state government, and also federalism is a shield against arbitrary central government. According to Lord Bryce, I think it's from United States of America, he says federalism prevents the rise of a despotic central government absorbing other powers and menacing the private liberties of the citizen. Okay. The third advantage is we will be having a decentralized government. It is one of the advantages since local government units will also have no more excuse for delayed and low quality projects and programs because they will not be able to blame the national government anymore. When it comes to the economy, the local government are allowed to have more power over their resources. Decentralization in the Philippines will allow states to keep more of their income taxes. They do not have to rely on collecting real estate tax and business permit. Let's say 80% of their income stays and 20% goes back to the national government. Though through federal constitutions, it will allow the autonomous regions or state to use the majority of their funds to their own development without needing a go signal from Malacanang. So, the local government will be the responsible for their growth without relying to the national government or to our central government. Lastly, states are empowered to make their own decisions. They will no longer need to rely on the central government to decide for them. That's what I said earlier, that they will be independent. And this is important to note in the Philippine context because of the vast geographical and cultural differences between regions that the central government may not always be able to cater to. So the central government is not always responsible for the issue or to the problem in a local government. So local government will be independent and they will not rely to the central government or to the national government. So their income to the local government, it's theirs. So the national government will not be dependent to the local government too. The national government will be out in the issue. But however, there are instances that they need to collaborate in terms of the national issues, the whole country's issues, and not to the state, to this local government issues. Okay. Thank you.
During 2018, federalism is the most controversial issue in the Philippines. According to Helen Flores, in the year of 2018, the Pulse Asia conducted a survey and states that out of 99% of Filipinos, 67% of Filipinos were against of cartel change, and 18% were in favor, and 14% were still undecided of the said matter. Also, Pulse Asia survey showed that 62% of Filipinos were against a federal system, and 6 over 10 were in favor of it. The question is, are we ready for federalism? The president of Asian Social Institute of Manila, Professor Rinal Ramirez, pointed out the cons of federalism. And there are 3 dimensions. The first one is political leaders, the second one is Filipino mindsets, and the third one is social cultural dimension. Political leaders, third cultism. In our country, many politicians switch parties every election. Mostly they do not run because of their platforms, programs, or principles, but because of party finances, winnability, survey, and networks. The characters of these politicians that they are showing is not politically mature. The next one is Filipino mindsets. Some of Filipinos do not want to dip their fingers into politics. That's why they are afraid that politics would change them into worse instead of changing their political culture. Most of the time, Filipinos choosing their leaders not because of leadership skills, knowledge on the job, or with the fortitude, but because of face value, winnability, charisma, or media exposure. The last one is the social cultural dimensions. The Philippines is continuously shaping its cultural identity amidst diversity. There will be instances that the regions such as Luzon and the place Manila will much more favored than other places in our country. And instances that the education, economy, health welfare is better than others. Just like what we're experiencing right now, some of us open our eyes to see what's really going on. And federalism is not that inadequate, but our country is.
So, ito nga pala yung mga bansa na kung saan ang form of government nila ay federal. Tapos, ito yung mga bansa na pinaka or magaling sa pagpapalakad ng federal. First is USA. Sundan ito ng Canada, India, Germany, at saka Australia. So, based dun sa 1987 Philippine Constitution, ang bansa daw natin ay under ng unitary government na maaari lamang palitan sa pamamagitan ng charter change or legal or and political process sa pagre-review at pag-revise ng 1987 Constitution. Kapag naman naging federal government tayo or naging under tayo ng federal government, mahahati ang bansa natin sa maliliit na region. Bawat state ay magkakaroon ng sariling gobyerno at magiging independent, especially in terms of economic policy and sa paggawa ng law or pag-implement ng laws. Kapag naman nagwatak-watak ang bansa natin sa maliliit na region, lalawak ang political dynasty at magkakaroon tayo ng inequality pagdating sa resources. Kasi may mga bansa na alam naman natin na hindi enough yung resources nila para masustentuhan yung mga pangangailangan nila. Pero para sa akin bilang estudyante at mamamayan ng Pilipinas, hindi ako against or tutol dun sa gusto mangyari ng presidente natin. Ang point ko lang is, kaya naman ng bansa natin eh. Hindi naman kailangan baguhin yung form of government natin. Alam mo, ang kailangan lang natin is cooperation, magandang pamamalakad ng gobyerno, at higit sa lahat, yung walang corruption.
Good day everyone! I am Maria Christine Emaco and I'm here to discuss to you what are the advantages of having unitary government. So together with my notes, I'll discuss it to you. So let's start! Unitary government is a simple system whereas it has a single and decisive legislative. It is also less costly unlike the federal government. there are no other levels of government that need to be funded by the state, which makes it less expensive. So, ang unitary government is a simple and decisive legislative, kung saan ang law, authority, and power ay nagmumula sa central government. At kung ano ang inimplement nila, yun ang dapat gawin ng ating lokal na gobyerno. And then, at dahil doon, nagiging less expensive ang unitary government unlike sa federal government. For the citizens, unitary government creates less confusion over the governing process. Instead of creating multiple laws and regulations, unitary has a clear set to follow by the people, and it may be convenient and it may reduce the risk of an unknown violation of the law. Also, this could promote national unity because citizens only owe their allegiance to the central government. So, para sa ating mga mamamayan, ang unitary government po ay nagbibigay ng less confusion para sa ating mga tao dahil yun na nga, iisa lamang ang dapat nilang sundin dahil kung ano ang pinatupad ng central government, ganoon din po ang dapat ipatupad ng ating mga lokal na gobyerno. And then, ang unitary government din po ay nagpo-promote ng national unity dahil tayo ay nagkakaisa dahil sa pamamagitan ng one authority or dahil sa iisa lamang ang ating sinusunod, nagkakaroon tayo ng unity, national unity. Everyone is placed in a position where they work to support one another. There are no overlapping districts because everything operates through the central system. Even when there are multiple elections held each year to sort out national representation, the results are a direct reflection of the diversity found in a society. Although this is centralized government, but it can be designed in such a way that it replicates the style of federated state. Instead of a local government, a unitary system will place a delegate, representative, or someone in a similar position to administer local resources. People can speak to the officials at their local office to voice their concerns about local matters. Then the state representatives can communicate those issues to the governing body to ensure that enough attention is given to the problem. So, sa unitary government, lahat po ng every district ay pantay-pantay, walang mataas, walang hindi na bibigyang pansin. So, sa lahat ng district po, meron po tayong mga ine-elect na representatives kung saan sila, doon tayo lumalapit, doon natin sinasabi ang ating mga hinaing, ang hinaing ng kanilang mga bayan, at sila naman po ang magiging way. Sila po ang makikipag-usap sa ating central government kung ano ang mga hinaing na yon para makapag-isip sila or makagawa sila ng paraan para punan po ang lahat ng iyon. And then, unitary government is good for those countries that are geographically smaller in size. And because of this, the government can respond quickly to emergency situations. Whenever an unexpected situation arises, whether it is from a natural disaster or a declaration of war, the government can respond with better accuracy and more speed domestically or overseas because one decision instead of 4 or more needs to be made. So, ang unitary government din po, isa sa mga advantage niya ay mabilis po ang pag-respond niya in case na may mangyaring hindi maganda. Halimbawa na lang, pag may natural disaster or magde-declare ng war. Mas mabilis pong maipapasa sa mga lokal na gobyerno ang kailangan malaman ng mga tao or kung ano ang dapat gawin nila sakaling may mangyaring ganito. And then, ang unitary government naman po ay mas applicable po sa mga bansang maliliit lamang or may maliit na populasyon. And that is all. And I hope that you gain information and knowledge about this topic. Thanks for watching!
So today I will going to discuss those cons or disadvantage of unitarian system of government. So let's start. So, first is yung tinatawag nating hypercentralism or yung an intense power of centralization which are concentrated only in the center or in the central government so that burden of work becomes too heavy. Yon. Sa ating pangalawa naman ay tinatawag naman nating detachment from local needs. So, under these circumstances, the distribution of national resources as might not be even, as some regions could be neglected for political reasons, or in other words, some interest of minority could be neglected. So, maaari din pumasok sa cons na ito ay yung tinatawag nating kakulangan ng magsuporta ng national government sa isang local government sa pamamaraan ng pagtatag ng isang programa. Halimbawa na lang ng pagkakaroon ng isang produkto, ang isang region na kung saan para maipromote ito, kailangan magtatag ng isang malinaw at konkretong programa ang national government nang sa gayon ay mapaunlad ang produktong ito sa lugar na yon and at the same time sa buong bansa. So, ang pangatlo naman po ay tinatawag natin unequal distribution of funds. So, sa isang halimbawa, ipagpalagay lang natin na ang Davao City ay may nakuwang 100% pondo sa loob ng isang buwan. So, sa 100% na fund po na yon, ay hahatiin po yon. Ang 70% ay mapupunta sa ating central government at habang ang natitirang 30% ay mapupunta or babalik sa Davao City. So, yung 30% po, doon po kukunin yung pondo para sa infrastructure ng Davao, sa papagawa ng mga buildings doon, or pwedeng mapunta sa pondo ng health, or pwede rin mapunta sa pondo sa bawat barangay. So, parang ganon. So, ang 70% ay babalik sa central government. So, ipagpalagay natin na sa loob ng isang buwan, ang government po ay tatanggap ng 70% na pondo sa bawat rehiyon. So, ganon po yung sistema ng nakaangkla sa ating unitarian form of government. So, ang conclusion lang dito ay nakikita nating mas umuunlad ang central government kesa sa local government, or mas nagkakaroon pa ng progress ang central government kesa sa local government. So, isang malinaw lang na sentiments na napapag-iwanan po ang mga local government at patuloy na nagpo-progress ang central government. So, yung pinakapanghuli naman ay pinakapanghuling cons ay may tatawag nating less efficient. Bakit po? So, siguro less efficient in the sense of laging palpak sa pag-respond sa mga local affairs na problem, no? Hindi masyadong nagiging aware ang central government sa problem ng mga local affairs dahil mas nakatuon sila sa pag-asikaso ng agenda sa central government, lalo na sa pag-uusap through sa ibang bansa. Mas inuuna nila yan, or mas inuuna nila yung pangloob na ekonomiya, no? So yun lang po lamang ang disadvantages or cons ng under ng unitarian form of government. Maraming salamat.
I will explain the importance of unitary in other country. A unitary state or unitary government is a governing system in which a single central government has total power over all of its other political subdivisions. Unitary state, it is the opposite of a federation where government powers and responsibilities are divided in unitary state, and the political subdivision must carry out the direct creative of the central government, but here no power to act on their own opinion. Kumbaga, ito po yung nagsasabi ng sila lang yung government na nagbibigay ng power ng issue about sa mga nangyayari sa ating bansa.
To conclude, Philippines is an archipelago country where we have different areas and regions as well as different political leaders for their governing skills and political aspects to be implied. The unitary form of government has been an effective and efficient form of government for us to use. As our society transforms, we are used to one leader governing our country and giving out and setting up implementations for us to follow. Although we are a unitary form of government, we use departments for different set of fields and expertise for the different concerns to be addressed. We use this form of government because of our societal manner and difference between culture. From first generation of our presidents, we use this kind of form to give out rules and orders just from one department alone. Meanwhile, federal form of government has also been an issue between democratic rights of our country and to the political leaders. They are afraid that exploitation might come when it comes to segregation and powers and also military enforcement. However, this gives more power to different regions where they could take more effort and more aspects into what they are implementing upon their area. From implementation of rules that is disseminated within their area and also appropriate to the needs and essentials of their society, and from them adapting into their own ways. Every form and type of government would be efficient and effective among different leaders. Every type and form could be negative, every type of form could be positive. It depends on the political leader who is handling the country, whether he give or she give the right amount of power, not just to the people, but also to the political leaders and he or she has.